Hello everyone, I'm Doc Ken and welcome to my channel. For those of you who've seen my channel, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a video in English. This video should have been out a couple of weeks ago, but since my run from Singapore, I had another race, 2 races, and I've just done a 30k trail this past weekend, so bear with me. I'm a recreational marathon runner, an ultra road runner enthusiast, and trail enthusiast as well. So it's just to keep me in shape, keep me healthy. Starting from 10k, I've now accomplished and finished my first 100-mile road race last November, this November. So which equipment or shoes did I use? Sandals. I was introduced by a friend of mine, a running buddy, before COVID, to flip-flops. Now these flip-flops happen to be made in Thailand. The brand is Ving. Now for those of you in Singapore, you're fortunate enough because Ving had opened a franchise or a retail store there. I think it's in two stores in Isitan, Orchard Road. You can look it up. When I was in Singapore, it was just so unfortunate that because of time constraints, I didn't have time to go over and film the shop itself. For those of you in Singapore, yeah, I think from what the CEO, Mr. Wei, told me, I think there's 4 stores of Ving there. So you guys can check it out. It's cheap, it's easy to wear, no hassle, and no black toenails. Sandals. My first impression when I first came into the running community, marathon running community, and participated in the run, I see many people wearing the flip-flops, and it's your mind tend to wonder, wow, these guys must be veterans, well experienced runners. But nowadays it's not the elderlies that are wearing it. You get these youngsters who are running in them, and they're pretty fast. Now, having spoken to Mr. Wei, now you can check out, I interviewed him, the CEO, and you can check out I've done two videos of that, one in English and one in Thai, so you can check that out and listen to what he has to say. And it's not only for the elderlies and whatsoever, but my first impression was you got to be a really experienced runner. You must have tons and years and years of experience to be wearing these. Your legs are going to be really tough and strong to be able to go in these. But once I tried it, I was so hooked up. Brief history of Ving. It's a startup company by Mr. Wei. Now he's also a marathon enthusiast, and so he was participating in one of the races when his sneakers or trainers just totally wrecked. I think the outsole just came apart, so he ditched it, he dumped it, ran into a convenience store, bought himself a pair of sandals, finished that race in those sandals. So that gave him the idea of creating Ving. The latest model, this is the one that I wore at Singapore Marathon, Ving Kirion. Now the style is more or less like those Roman or Greek gladiators sandal style. You got the straps and the Velcro, the one that locks your feet to your foot to the sandals the Velcro itself is so gluey. I finished my 100 miles road race in these. It never came loose, and it's just, it just stays, and no worries whatsoever. It is so tough. It's not going to come out that easily. If you not pull it, it won't come out. It's so tough. Like this. Amazing. Now, the material itself is a mixture of TPU and EVA. The drop is about 4 millimeters with Kirion. Now, you might wonder, what's it like? What's the ride like? Well, first and foremost, switching from sneakers, trainers, to sandals, one thing you notice is that it's so comfortable, in the sense that your toes are, they're free. You give freedom to your foot or your feet. You can splay out your toes, no issue whatsoever. Say goodbye to black toes, black toenails. So that's one of the reasons why I've now, my past year, my goal was to train and run a 100-mile road race. So that was one of the reasons why I switched to sandals. And also another issue that I have with my right foot is that I broke my metatarsal a couple of years ago running marathons on a carbon plated shoe. So yeah, my orthopedic is always warning me, whispering in my ears all the time, don't run, stop running. But no, you can't. And I'm not running as in running now. You're more or less shuffling. That's the tips that I got from Mr. Wei, the CEO, and also other veteran runners here in the province of Konkan. There's so many, the sandal running community is growing. So yeah, I spoke to one of the veterans. He said, it's more or less shuffling your feet. It's more or less cadence wise rather than stride. So yeah, you have to, it's just a minor change from a stride or wearing those flat race or carbon plated whatsoever, those super shoes, to come to these. It took a couple of days for transitioning from running shoes to sandals. And once I tried it, 80% of my run now, I'm using these, and the other 20 I'm just using the recovery daily trainers. So yeah, I would recommend it to anyone, especially senior runners. You worry about, my knee, with running with sandals, because you're more or less shuffling, your feet are not even off it's not off the ground as in like stride. So your feet are more closer to the ground, so you don't get that pounding impact on the knee. So that's the tip that I got from most veteran sandal marathon runners, and now I'm passing it on to those of you who might be interested in trying marathon sandals. Now, as I mentioned, these are TPU and EVA. So what's it like to wear it? Well, first and foremost, it's very easy. You slip it on, put the Velcro on, strap on. You can either go barefoot in these. I haven't tried going barefoot. I just wear socks, and I use Ving socks. So they do socks as well, Ving. So yeah, I wear socks in these. No friction whatsoever when running or shuffling. no friction whatsoever with the side of the straps and the upper. No issue with the ankle strap as well. So yeah, I haven't had any issues with them. No blisters, and definitely no black toenails. So that's the nice thing about it. So what's the ride like? The ride itself, my first impression was, wow, the ride is going to be harsh. It's going to be like, your typical sandal. But I was absolutely wrong. The feeling itself is like putting on one of those the olden days before the pre-carbon plated shoe feeling. The ride in some of those shoes, I don't want to mention any names, but those flat, it's not even close to a flat race, but more of a daily trainer, one of those low drop daily trainer shoes. One of them I would say very close to the feeling of Saucony Kinvara. Kinvara 8, 9, yeah. I wouldn't say as soft as 8. I'd say 9 or 10. The ride is like that, similar. Because of the EVA, so, and the stack height. The stack height is 4 millimeters, so it's probably more or less the same as Kinvara's. So yeah, that's the ride, and obviously you're not doing that stride movement. You're more or less concentrating on the cadence. So you're more or less shuffling along. You're shuffling your feet along. So it's not the harsh itself. It's not so harsh. So it's more of a trotting, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'd say go out if you're in Singapore. Go check it out. Isitan. They have 4 branches. I can't remember which floor it is, but you can inquire there, you guys. Now, for those of you outside of Thailand and Singapore, if you're interested, I'll put a link down of their Facebook, Ving's Facebook, and Ving Thailand Facebook, and you can contact them through the message. You can send them a message in their inbox and just get in touch with them. And if you're interested, it's the pair of these are 1,400 baht, or maybe you can get, if you mention you saw this video, you might get some discount. They do that sometimes because I've introduced a couple of my running buddies to getting them, and yeah, they managed to get some discount. But anyway. Yeah, coming back to the ride. You're shuffling along, and obviously when I was training for the ultra, my 100k, the beginning of the year, I did a 100k road race in these, and last 3rd week of November, I finished my first ever road 100 miler. And had no issue. I had no issue. My first 100 mile, I did it in these orange bad boys. And the last 60, I switched between Kirion, the navy blue, which is downstairs. It's all wrecked now, and the flip flop. Now, if you're interested in, interested in these, I've done a review of the flip-flops, 100k Elite. You can scroll down and have a look at those. My review, my impression of the flip-flop style of Ving. That's more of a flat racer. Now with these, yeah. So the ride isn't as comfy as I would say your cushiony shoes. But it's more like I said, closest I would say Kinvara. Now the comforting thing about these as I mentioned earlier, is that once you put it on, your feet, you're giving the freedom to your feet or your foot. So you can splay your toes out, no worries. Now for those of you who've got wide feet, 2E can fit into these Kirions. However, if you have like a 4E, you might struggle a bit. But like I said, you can stretch the strap around the toe box area and try stretching them, and they do stretch, and yeah, and they're quite durable. Which comes to the pros and the cons of these Kirion, which I found. So the pros, let's start with the pro first. Obviously, yes, the price. It's cheap. So it's only 1,400 baht. Convert that into your currencies accordingly. They're very easy to put on, comfortable in the sense that you can splay your toes, no issue whatsoever with black toenails. I haven't had any issues with frictions, and especially running in the wet condition in Singapore. I was expecting my feet to be, moving about, slipping in sideways or whatever. No slippage, no foot slippage whatsoever. It's grippy, and even with socks. And those of you who ran the Singapore Marathon recently would say it was pretty wet, and these Kirion handled it very well. And after the rain subsided, the storm went away. I think after 15 kilometers in, yeah, it started to dry up. No issues. Good drainage as well, and that's the pro of it. You can run in wet conditions. You can run in. Obviously, you might struggle a bit in snow. Yeah, but yeah, with wet conditions, no problem. Traction-wise, no issues whatsoever. Which I forgot to mention, the outsole of these Kirions are made specifically for trekking and for hiking. So the beads or the pods itself of the outsoles are made large, and also the grooves are pretty deep. So yeah, it provides traction, pretty good tractions on rocky surfaces and on wet road conditions. So yeah, and those are the pros, and obviously the durability as well. They are quite durable, and my flip-flops have already done 1,000k plus. Now these, I've got 3 of these in 3 colors of these. They have another 3 colors, which is black, white, and turquoise. The 3 of these, on average, I've done about 400 kilometers on each one of them. So durability, you can see on the outsole, just a minor wear and tear. And so yeah, they do last. And it's I'd say it's pretty worth it. Now, the cons or the downside of these Kirion. The only downside or the cons that I've experienced in my runs, training and marathon, is when you get small pellets or small stones that lodge between your feet and the sandal itself, it doesn't come out. Unlike the sandal version, the flip-flop versions. With the flip-flop versions, you can shake it out. But with these, you have to stop and remove it, because you just can't shake it out. I've tried it so many times, and I've had a few running in the park. I've had a few twigs that have I don't know how it got in. It just goes in and yeah, it just lodges in there, and yeah, I had to stop. No other choice. So yeah, and that's the only downside. I think that's the only cons that I have with these Kirion. Kirion meaning well, comes from the word Kiri in Thai, means mountain. So Wei's initial plan was for these sandals to be used for trekking or hiking, but it can also be used in trail running, which I bumped into this guy last weekend, on the last Sunday here. He ran 30k with me. Well, he was behind me, but yeah, I bumped into him. Kirion. So yes, highly recommended for any one of you who are interested in transitioning to sandal running for marathons. I wouldn't say, it's a fashion statement. I wouldn't say it's a fashion sort of thing, but it's more of, I'd say it's more of a, you have to be open. I had to be open, and I was looking for shoes that can make my feet comfortable as I have to nurture an old fracture wound. So for me, moving on from carbon plated, from doing stride, now I'm doing more or less shuffling and long runs in these. I find it more, I'd say it's more suited for my my feet now, my right foot now. I have to nurture this foot. So for me, it's my go-to trainers, or even race day shoes, sandals rather. So yeah, I'd highly recommend those of you interested, give it a try and see how you're doing them, or you can use it as a daily lifestyle. You can walk in the beach with these. Go to the beach, go trekking, go hiking in them, and they come in, like I said, 6 colors. So it's cheap as well, affordable and durable. So yeah, Ving Kirion. So for those of you in Singapore, you're very fortunate that yes, they have a branch. They have 4 stores there, Isitan, and I can't remember the other store location. You can contact. I'll put a link down. Ving's Facebook. You can contact them, and if you're interested. And for those of you outside Thailand and Singapore, you can also message them if you're interested. I highly recommend. So yeah, if you like and enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share, and if you want me to do more videos like this in English, then yeah, give us a comment in the comment box. Hopefully you'll all enjoy 2022. You had your PBs. We are all out there now, enjoying the races are back on, and hopefully more PBs to be broken in 2023. All the best, and don't forget, Ving sandals. I'll see you in the next one.